The South Dakota Property Rights and Local Control Alliance, SDPR LCA, thank you for participating in our 2026 primary legislative candidate video survey. As a nonpartisan grassroots organization, SDPR LCA is dedicated to protecting private property rights and maintaining local authority. Following the 2024 general election, where 65 of 66 South Dakota counties voted no on Referred Law 21, voters are eager to hear where the 2027 legislative class stands on these core issues. And we've got a few ground rules here for the interview. We ask you to introduce yourself for a minute and a half, and then we've got 5 targeted questions at 2 minutes each, and then a closing statement for 2 minutes. And then you're free to go. All 5 questions will focus specifically on property rights and local control. And I guess you've received the questions in advance. And our recordings will be posted on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and the website. So if you'd like to introduce yourself to the voters, please tell us about your background, your connection to your district, and what specific conviction or event led you to step forward and run for the South Dakota legislature in 2026. So go ahead.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to visit with the landowners. The first thing I'd start off with is the pronunciation of my name. It's spelled N-O-V, but we pronounce it N-O-R, which is Novstrup. And that's not a
Novstrup.
big deal.
Okay.
Not a big deal, but it's a lot easier to pronounce Novstrup. Just think of North and say Novstrup. Anyway, jump right into the conversation. I'm a small business guy. Been in business for I won't say how many years, but it's a lot. I've owned a computer company for 18 years, and I've owned a company that most of you've heard of, Thunder Road, for, gosh, we're at 31 years on Thunder Road. And that doesn't mean I'm 82 years old. That just means that some of that time was an overlap. But I'm a small business guy. I have served in the legislature for 24 years. Sean Torno, the prior speaker, was wrong about what he said. He said that the longer you've been there, the more you get in bed with the second floor. And the answer is the longer you've been there, the more you know what you're not to do. So anyway, lot of ground to cover. I guess the main thing is I'm a small business guy. I've been in the legislature a long time, served on the appropriation committee. I'm a vice chair of appropriation, so Mark Lapke is the vice chair of the Senate. I'm the vice chair of the House, and we deal with a $7.5 billion budget between federal, state, and taxpayers' money and the user fees. So a lot of my property rights is related to cash, which is a property. And that's what I spend 38 days in the legislature dealing with the cash side of the budget, or the cash side of the legislature. So with that, I go on to the next question whenever you're ready, or I can continue. You gotta put your hand up and tell me, okay, next question.
No, you were just about perfect, right on a minute and a half with that.
Okay.
And I apologize for mispronouncing your name, but I've
Nope.
got it now. So our first question is district specific. What do you identify as the primary property rights issue in your district? And what is your single most serious concern regarding it, such as resource depletion, loss of local control, or unintended consequences?
Well, I'll just give you a little bit of background concerning property rights. I've been deeply involved with the Summit Carbon issue. Brown County was one of the counties that Summit Carbon was going to go through. The actual route was within about a mile and a half of an elementary school, and it went right by Aberdeen. So we fought the fight for Summit Carbon in Aberdeen. So the other property rights issue that you may not have heard of before is School and Public Lands has got 96 or 97 dams. The engineers have deemed Richmond Dam the most high hazard. The definition of high hazard dam is one, if it was to fail, would cause significant loss of life or property. So we've had this problem for a few years now. We've been trying to deal with it. And the problem is if Richmond Dam was to go, we would have 7 times more casualties in Aberdeen than the Rapid City flood. And we got that across the finish line with fully funding. It's been a battle because the engineers keep going back and discovering new things as they dig in deeper into that existing dam. But we got it fully funded. The construction on the new dam started a few weeks ago, and I don't know, what better thing you could do for private property rights is put a dam upstream that will not fail. So
All right.
the other thing that I am involved with and involves the cash. Well, let's go back to Summit Carbon. Summit Carbon was a huge taking of cash from the taxpayers. And data centers right now, the big debate in the legislature is probably issue number one in the legislature is do we give 100-year or forever tax breaks to data centers or 30-year? The bill that came started out with a forever, and then it got amended, or the thought process went to 100 and that went down to 30. And the answer is I'm opposed to giving a tax exemption to data centers that I cannot give to the average business person or the average person. And that's property rights of cash.
Very good. Very good. Um, so question number two, action plan. What specific legislative action or policy change would you champion to address these issues that you mentioned?
Well, the one I just mentioned, which is we're going to have a real fight. There's a tremendous amount of money being put into campaigns for people that will vote for a sales tax exemption for data centers. And the answer is I'll be solid against it and do whatever I can to prevent the legislature giving a sales tax break to data centers.
Well, that's wonderful. Um, question three is on core components. Property rights involve the right to possess, control, exclude, enjoy, and dispose. How is the right to exclusion at risk from state mandates in your district, and how will you protect it?
Well, the risk for exclusion goes back to Summit Carbon. Summit Carbon appears to be defeated, but that doesn't mean they are. They're a billion-dollar company, and anytime you got a billion-dollar company, they're dangerous. So, and then we've seen other examples of issues with the federal government. The example of the Maudie out West River, where the federal government was coming in and uh, threatening a lawsuit against West River ranchers. But um, I guess I don't know what the action plan is until I know what the problem is. At this point, uh, Summit Carbon seems to be headed in the right direction, which is they're not coming. Data centers don't have the incentive, so I guess that's the one we need to stand against. Beyond that, I I don't have anything particular to on exclusion.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Question four is on eminent domain. Under what specific circumstances, if any, do you believe eminent domain should be used for projects owned by private corporations?
Well, I don't really draw a distinction between public and private or government. Let's go back to the original definition of eminent domain. We have a civilized society, and to have a civilized society, you need things like electricity and water and road. Eminent domain should be used for electricity, water and road, natural gas. Uh, but that's as far as it goes. It should be only used for those things that we need to have a civilized society. And I've listed them off already. And I might be missing one, but you get the point is we all need water. We all need natural gas, electrical, roads. So that's my endpoint on eminent domain. It should not be used. The famous Kelo lawsuit. That the Supreme Court did, I don't know, 6, 8 years ago. The answer is no, that doesn't work. And that was basically to increase the tax break, which they then said was to be for the common good. CO2, putting it in the ground is not, in my book, does not qualify for eminent domain. or increasing the tax break or the tax base.
Okay, very good. Um, Question 5 is local control. Describe a scenario in which local control is not enough protection.
Well, I guess right now the proponents of data centers are advocating for local control. Um, but what they're not telling you is that what they really want is that tax break. The center of the universe on data centers is the sales tax break. And the answer is no. So,
Okay, wonderful. Well, that's the end of our 5 questions. And in closing, as we head toward the June 2nd primary, it's vital that voters know how to reach their potential representatives. For our final 2 minutes, please let the folks in District 3 know how they can contact you directly, where they can pick up a sign to show their support, how they can join your team as a volunteer, and how to give donations.
well, everything is on the screen. Representative Al Norstrup, District 3, website alnorstrup.com. Facebook is A Norstrup. Donations would just be to send it to my home address, 1705 Northview Lane, Aberdeen, South Dakota. I guess I don't think I've got it on my website or my Facebook, but call me and I'll gladly tell you where to send money. So, um, appreciate the opportunity to talk. And I guess the main thing, the main thing I would tell you is look at my voting record, look at what I've done over the years.